Hello, my friend. This is Clyde. Have faith in God. Let us continue our efforts in trying to make sense of faith, to learn faith so that we can do faith. I have two reminders for both you and me as we dive into this other edition of our faith project. The first one says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. Think about it. If you have faith, God will be happy with you. So in going forward, please have faith. The second one is something Jesus told his disciples. Truly I tell you, if you have faith and do not doubt, great things will happen in your life. Doubt is the proverbial fly in the ointment. If there's a fly in the vat of ointment, then all that oil is contaminated. So, are we ready to go? Oh, one other thing. The guys whose names are linked to faith in the Bible, they were ordinary folks like you and me, starting with Noah. Noah was a man of unusual faith. First of all, Noah lived in a time when nobody was practicing faith in God because the majority of the people back then were the least interested in serving God. In fact, faith was so absent from their lives that most of the population on earth at the time, they were busy serving everything except God. They did evil in the sight of God. Here comes Noah, and he is like a guy of faith. What does that mean? Think about it. Nobody on earth during that time had ever seen rain, like rain from the sky. The Bible said that a mist would come up from the ground and water the plants. So if there has never been anything called rain from the sky, then imagine how ridiculous it sounded that God was going to destroy the earth with rain that is going to come from the sky. Incredulous, isn't it? But Noah believed. It wasn't funny because this ark took a long time to be completed, and nobody in Noah's community, nobody believed in this made-up story that Noah and his family were spreading. Every day for 120 years, Noah would be answering the question, what is that you're building? Why? Because God is going to send water from heaven and destroy the world. That kind of talk is equivalent to insanity. And so nobody in the community bought into Noah's story. But the Bible said that Noah had faith. I wonder what piece of our definition in Hebrews 11 verse 1 did Noah practice? Noah had confidence in God that what he said he was going to do. That is what we are saying. If you have faith in God, then God will be pleased. If you have confidence in God, then you will see God do great things. Well, the rest is history. Rain did come, and every human being outside the locked ark drowned. That's faith. Noah's confidence was second to none. Now let us move on to Abraham, the king of faith. Please remember the definition of faith, that it is confidence in what you hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So let us measure Abraham against the yardstick of faith. In his earliest encounter with God, Abraham, as he was known then, made a bold step of faith. Or was he crazy? God came to Abraham and invited him to go to a place that God was going to give him as an inheritance. Would you believe that Abraham left his safe home and went on this crazy journey to a place that God was going to give him? How are you following God and you can't see God and you have no idea where this place is that you're going? That is faith, having the confidence in the promise of God. Then his son Isaac and his wife and Jacob family also lived in this land as immigrants over the years. But always remember that God had promised this land to the descendants of Abraham. Abraham died before the promise of the land was realized. In fact, it wasn't until nearly 450 years later that they got the land. That is a blessing, and it is good to be able to have blinders on so that your eyes of faith do not stray and start to doubt. Remember, Jesus said, have faith and do not doubt. The Abraham story of faith continues. Abraham was getting older and his lovely wife still had not had any children. God promised him that he would give him the land, and they were getting old. The faith journey says that without faith you cannot please God. So Abraham kept on having faith that a baby boy would be born at the right time. Sarah too was considered a woman of faith, and in the face of teasing and ridicule, she held on to this promise that she and her husband would have a baby. Well, it happened. Their faith paid off. Seriously. God was pleased with the faith that Abraham and his wife demonstrated. These two folks, with each passing year, they did not doubt that God had changed his mind, and so the baby arrived when he was 100 years old and she was 90 years old. And by faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was enabled to bear children because she considered him faithful who had made the promise. And so from this one man, and he as good as dead, came descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as countless as the sand on the seashore. All of this sounds funny, doesn't it? But faith is like that. It appears to be a crazy road, but never forget that without faith, it is impossible to please God. And you want to please God in your life, right? My word to you, have faith in God.